travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. I've been on this interstellar journey through the galaxy, transcended all dimensions just for you to smile on me. Fulfillment of a cosmic legacy, divine purpose, plan some call it destiny. Evils in my past, they were suppressing me. I need you in my life, you like breath to me. When I'm in your love, it ain't no stress to me. Kneeling at your wall to keep a blessing. Lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. I just wanna see you happy. I just wanna see you smile. Seems like it is never happy. That's why I'm so grateful now. I just wanna feel the bliss. Just wanna see the smile I miss. Being in love, I reminisce. Never really loved quite like this. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be.
What's going on, everybody? It is the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Just want to do a little quick energy reading for June 16th, a little preparation for the upcoming full moon. Look at some additional things that I didn't get to touch on in the full moon video, and just look at some different aspects. Throughout this week, I've been processing not only the astrology, but the psychology, the spirituality, and going through a lot of transformations in my own personal life. And now at the point where I'm kind of making sense of it, and now I'm able to speak on it. Generally, when we go through spiritual transformations and spiritual downloads, the problem with that is that people never tend to ask, like, well, how are you feeling, what's going on with you? You generally don't get that. Most people, when you have a particular level or people view you a certain type of way, they only see you for how they can benefit from you. And moving into this full moon, you may be questioned about your relationships based upon how you feel about yourself. And so why I titled this video The Ripple Effect is based upon my work and where it's leading me towards the center or the nucleus, and then from the nucleus being able to spread out my message or spread out my information. But first and foremost, it starts with me, and then I spread out. I don't necessarily know if my intention or my goal was to reach a lot of people. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But in doing that, whatever the case may be, it just is what it is now. And now I have to process this information differently. I have to speak to it differently. I have to come to different understandings and present these different understandings. And in that, there will be a lot of people who don't agree with me. People will get to know me initially, like me, get to know me, then not like me. And this is something that I've had to realize people don't never really intend to get to know you. They only deal with their projection of who they expect you to be, who they want you to be. And if you're not dealing with that first and foremost, then the ripple effect really doesn't really resonate, because you have to be solid with yourself to begin to spread. If we see a person spreading, doing good things, being the best that we could be, we may look at that person and say, I want to be like that person. But have we done the inner work to get to that level that that person is at? 10 times out of 10, the answer is no. So dealing with the nucleus, dealing with this nuclear energy is kind of the direction that I'm going with my talks, and my message is really what's going to be on display today. Like I said, it's not going to be a really long video. Just want to touch on this energy and invite people to check out that full moon video that we did last week. And so the reason why I wanted to talk today specific to this particular transit is it's a learning triangle. So a learning triangle is what it is. It's an opportunity for us to learn and have some point of understanding or point of reference. So the positioning of the planets and the chart, it indicates something very profound to me. We have a north node and south node conjunct the natal ascendant of the world. So whether you're going through something, the world is going through something, right? So generally we look at the chart, our natal chart, and we think, this is our chart. Got to study my chart, my individual chart. Well, we're all a part of this world. We're all a part of this particular, I don't know what you call it at this point, globe, universe, earth, whatever you want to call it. This energy that persists, it affects us all. So when you look at a north node conjunct the global ascendant, and you have a south node conjunct the global descendant, then you have a particular understanding that the future and past are coming under examination. And within that examination of future and past, you have a learning triangle. So we're able to learn and understand what's happening with this opposition. And if we want to fully understand oppositions, they're not one or the other, right? So we have an ascendant and a descendant opposition, meaning in layman's terms, I am Kyrie. I am who I am, but I also have relationships with my family, just people in general, person that I buy, something from the store. That's a relationship. And these things help me understand who I am as a person, the way that people treat me, the way that people understand me, and the way that I understand myself. And so to balance the ascendant with the descendant is very important. The problem with the ascendant versus the descendant is that we only view ourselves as us, the perfect me, the perfect you, the perfect I. When we reflect on ourselves, even when we beat ourselves up, we still think that we're perfect, because if we weren't perfect, then why is this bad thing happening to us? So we search for particular excuses and variances for our experience based on the fact that we're perfect. And then when you get to the seventh house, or you get to the descendant, then the people in our lives, they don't live up to our expectations. They're not fast enough. They're not smart enough. They're not pretty enough. They're not spiritual enough. They're not woke enough. They're not enough. And we don't even realize that we're not even looking at them. We're looking at ourselves. And there is no sound science applicable psychological point of view that allows an individual to point fingers at another individual and blame them for anything. In the world outside of psychological thought, in the mundane, everyday, real world, there's the Me Too movement, it's the him too, it's the she too, it's the them too, it's everybody else's fault, it's the government, politician, businessmen, you name it, on and on and on. Psychologically, everything that is evil, everything that is great has to be balanced within ourselves. And then we move forward. So it's a particular threshold, it's a particular level to understanding this conversation, nor do I expect anybody to have an understanding of this conversation. But if we are responsible for our reality, then within these astrological aspects, in each and every astrological aspect, there is a particular solution as well as a problem. Even the learning triangle, if I did not explain that, is an in conjunction, a square, and a trine. An in conjunction expresses a misunderstanding, two planets who are in aspect to one another but don't fully get each other. A square is something that is completely irreconcilable, that just doesn't work, a 90-degree angle. A trine is something very innate, something that makes it all worthwhile, a reasoning, if you would. So within this understanding, within this irreconcilability, we are able to find a reason. So if we're going through particular abstractions in our lives, we must understand the ascendant versus descendant relationship. We must understand ourselves versus our relationships. And we must understand that there is nothing that you can read that would allow you to be psychologically sound and still point fingers. We have to begin to absolve ourselves of that normal human trait, but does not serve us in the realm of spirituality, when in the realm of spiritual understanding. So before I get into everything that these learning triangles is speaking to, let me first deal with Mercury, Mars, and the third decan of Gemini, and Mercury being that energy that is providing us with this innate information within itself, combined with Mars, is putting action involved. And if we're going to move at that level of innate psychic abilities, the key to understanding it, and I don't think a lot of people really factor it in or really even understand, is peace to y'all. Is that you can't go about it. Uh, you can't go about it and just having everything that you normally would do, and then somebody giving you a mercurial and Martian influence, and it's like, okay, now I got a jolt to do everything that I've been doing. So an example would be if you're working 40 hours a week or something like that, and then you's like, okay, Mercury Mars is in the play, let me start to work 60 hours a week. Is no. Of course you'll have a boost of energy, of course you'll have a jolt of things that you want to do. The key is to separate from the things that you've been doing and do different things. And the different things that are to be found and to be uncovered by you is very, very simple to find, very, very simple to uncover. You just have to be able to detach from all and really get to a point of bare minimum. The concept is via negativa, addition by subtraction. Understanding that a toxic relationship could get rid of, a toxic employment situation, you can get rid of it. The things that you don't like internally, now spiritually, You say, I'm a spiritually sound person. I'm a spiritual person. I connect to myself. I really feel that that's valid. But then I got this relationship that really makes me feel bad. I have this karmic relationship that bothers me. This career, or the way that I spend my time is really bothering me, and I feel it. Well, to get to the level of deep knowing and action and full alignment with the Mercurial Martian influence would be not to do that thing that is bothering you. Uh, because energy and fully setting full intentions towards something that you truly want, uh you want to be fully ergonomic, fully aerodynamic, so focused to what you trying to manifest and bring into realization. If you have to cut off 40 hours of your life, if you have to cut off a large percentage of your life to deal with this toxic relationship, to be in this place that you don't want to be at, then it's kind of halting that energy, and it creates different problems for us, especially when we're talking about forces of energy. And that's why personally, dealing with this energy, I've been particularly purging. So if it sounds like I'm a little bit under the weather, I'm not. I'm just purging very deeply. I've been purging for the past 2 weeks, ever since the new moon, in various ways. And in this process, I'm preparing for something very big, and quitting my job and doing a bunch of different things that I don't feel all the way comfortable with, but my spirit is telling me, can't work here any longer. You can't do this any like, it's a lot of different things that I just have not been doing, that I was doing up until the point till 2 weeks ago. And then doing this work, and the reason why I put out this video is because maybe another person is going through this too. And so, as opposed to thinking that you're crazy, or thinking that, things are really bad, or even that you're sick, or you're going through something and all is like, no, spirit is purging, spirit is clearing, the universe is preparing us for what we looked at previous. We have a north node conjunct the ascendant. We have a south node conjunct the descendant. So if the north node is conjunct the ascendant, that means the future is propelling us. We're moving towards something in the realm of future. And if we're going to move somewhere, then we want to make sure it ain't shit in the trunk. We want to make sure the tires are checked. We want to make sure that we're going to get to where we're going to get to. And if you have habits, if you have relationships, if you have time where you're being spent, where, even if you feel like it's valid, like I'm going to work, like I feel like I'm going to work, that's a good thing. I'm supporting my family. There is no karma in that. But the reality is that I could make more money if I finish this book. I could make more money if I focus more on readings in my spiritual life. And this is something that I kind of took a step away from, because I was incredibly spiritual. I was too spiritual, that I felt that I needed some mundane balance in my life. So I got a job, and now I feel as though what was such a simple thing to get is not a simple thing to walk away from. And this brings me into this fifth, sixth house Jupiter over in the sixth house of the last decan of Scorpio. And fully understanding this, it combines two things. It combines creativity and chaos. Now, creativity and chaos go hand in hand. The thing about it, as I'm really doing the research and really trying to figure out the messages that I'm being heard, and it's like, well, Why aren't people just doing the things that they're good at? Why aren't we just living from a creative space? And Spirit is telling me people are not even taking the first step to see, or even the outcome is so powerful to people that it doesn't even allow them to initiate what the outcome would or possibly could be. Therefore, if we are considered or inundated with how this thing is going to turn out, and maybe it might turn out bad, that's enough for people not to even attempt to try nothing new. And so I'm like, well, what's the solution in this? Because I find that to be valid. Nobody wants to say, hey, what up? Let me give you my number. And somebody be like, no, or give you the wrong number or something like that. Like, nobody wants to take that step and really put themselves out there. And so, in referencing myself and trying to find a solution for that particular problem that me and so many others are faced with, the fear of putting ourselves out there, the fear of failure, the fear of being put down, is simply one has to be bound to your spirit, bound to your soul. And if you are bound to your soul, then in that space, you are trusting your soul to speak to you in every moment. And it does. It does. Clean up, get an oil change, brush your teeth, tie your shoes, open the door. All of these things, Spirit constantly speaks to you. And it's just the certain shit, though, to clean up, to get the oil change. Sometimes we do it and we reap the benefits for being up on top of things. But then there's sometimes, that paying the bill before it gets late type of deal, or doing the thing that you should do, but putting it off, is kind of what this energy speaks to. And that's really not listening to Spirit. The more that we're on it, I was reading a quote about something about being busy, how being busy, oh, that's in here. Everything is easy when you're busy, but nothing is easy when you are lazy. So being on top of things, waking up, being aggressive with your spiritual program, being aggressive with your connection to your soul, as opposed to just being reactionary and hoping that everything goes well. Hoping that everything goes well. And even more so, these next two aspects really deal with relationships. And so if we're hoping that everything goes well with relationships, then we're not present in that relationship. We're not true to that relationship. If I'm a man and I hope that my wife treats me a certain way, does these things in a certain way, then she's my wife and everything's all good. Well, I'm at a place now, as we were like in nature throughout this week, just walking and reflecting. I personally had to let that idea go, that this is my wife forever. Can't no man touch my wife, or, all of that. Not to say that I don't want to be with my wife or don't love my wife or anything, but where I'm at now is that I'm giving everybody space to be who they are and feel how they want to feel, even if it's towards me. And that's on a personal level. Professionally, in this work, people have no real expectation of what a healer, what a psychic, what a reader really is. Of course, they want a reading on the onset, but you're completely at the mercy of how a person is going to feel about your advice. No matter how much studying, no much how you prepare, no matter how clear the message is, if a person is not ready to do the work, then they'll come to you for something that you can't do for them. When I was within myself and I was asking the question, about this lifestyle and helping people and, how to effectively do it, Spirit was specifically telling me you can't take a shower for another person, no matter how bad they stink. You could tell them how to take a shower. You could tell them what soap to use. You can tell them how to turn the faucet on, how to cut the shower on, what parts to wash up first, wash your ass last type of deal, that thing. But no matter what you tell them, how you tell them, how detailed the instructions is, how much of this shit is ordained from God, how well you should take a shower, if it doesn't resonate to a person's core to get up and take a shower on their own, it don't matter how spiritual I am. So even in that, I have to let that go. There's countless readings though. A lot of it could be in my ego. And learning how to help people outside of my ego is kind of the test that I'm felt with. And I know a lot of readers and psychics and things of that nature, they're not going to tell you what they're going through, and you're not even going to ask them how they're doing. You just want to know if you can get a boyfriend in the next year or so. That's all you care about. And I guess it's just like, in anything in life, we go to Chipotle all the time, and, get our rice bowl with steak, and we have no empathy for the person that's getting paid $15 an hour. It's like, that's on him, and I just want my rice bowl. And this society has basically created a bunch of zombies and a bunch of robots because nobody cares about what the next person is going through. We're only concerned with ourselves. So in helping others, you have to make a real conscious effort to care about other people and not worry about how people perceive you. So as I'm in tuning and processing this information, I'm really trying to figure out, okay, well, since the way that I've been helping people is not really valid, is not really serving the soul, is somewhat serving the ego, how do I begin to help others? And I guess it comes in understanding me and my life not doing the best that I can do in particular areas, and what that's doing and what that's creating in my outlook. Since I'm not doing everything that I need to do, it's creating negative things. And since I'm not looking at myself like, you need to better yourself, you need to stop doing that, that's not good, you should do things differently, then I'm just doing it to other people. So now I'm at a place where I'm not even pointing no finger at nobody for no reason, for any reason rather. I'm simply in tuning this information. I'm simply processing this information because opposed this Mercury Mars influence is Saturn and Pluto. So within that, Saturn, I know, is providing a particular reward. It's a particular test with this information. And Pluto is providing a particular transformation. So if I can transform and really understand the different ways that I can begin to improve how I see myself, my world, and then improve how I relate to other people on my relationships professionally. And not to say that everything's going to shit. It just feels that way because you're purging and you're releasing everything. So question everything, even the things that are good. And I think this is the problem with this Saturn, Pluto, Sagittarius energy. Because my wife asked me this question. She said, It's hard for me to kind of let go or start over, and that thing right there, it's hard to do that. It seemed easy for you, Kyrie, but it's hard for me. Why is that? And I'm like, well, I had a fucked up upbringing. Your upbringing wasn't as bad as mine. So when it comes to psychological transformation, having this bad upbringing, it's easy for me to throw it away because it never felt good. No, it never felt good. It never ever really felt good being sleep and then being sleep and then having to be punished and imprisoned and toxic relationships. The list goes on and on. So when it comes to psychologically awakening myself or integrating my soul into my daily life, that is more rewarding to me because now I can see a positive to my life. Now, if you were not doing anything psychological, but you still had the money, you still had the girls, the guys, the money, the cars, everything was good for you. This shit that I'm talking right now is harder for you than it is for me. It's easy for me because my life wasn't shit. It wasn't never shit. So now I can easily build up, better myself. It's gravy now. It makes hella sense. A lot of people had good lives though, or they felt that they was good lives. So when it comes to this particular place, where Saturn is actually at the 24th degree, is speaking to good fortune. And if good fortune is conjunct the north node or the south node rather, then that good fortune has a level of reversal. And if it's not actual good fortune that's being reversed, it's the way that you look at it, your perception, because the seventh house, sixth house zone where the descendant is the beginning of partnership, the beginning of shadow. And in this space, you begin to examine the company that you keep and the places that you go. So this reversal of fortune doesn't have to be a reversal of fortune in your life, but looking back at your life as being so fortunate, that's a block. The fact that you grew up in a picket fence and your parents provided for you, and you went to college, and out of college you got a job, you got married, had kids. All of that is not necessarily good if it comes to your soul telling you something completely different to do. Not listening to your soul, listening to your parents and doing everything that your parents expect. And at every turn, your parents going, congratulations, straight A's, congratulations, all of these things that you're doing so well, or that's bad. Lisa, don't do that, James. All of these things don't create for bad or good. It just create for your ignorance to listening to people who was listening to people who was listening to people who was listening to people. When it comes down to this moment, nothing that they say, nothing that anybody says is particularly valid. If your soul says something contrary, you need to figure out why your soul is even contrary to even anything. Me and my wife were talking yesterday on our walk, and I told her, like, the reason why I ask so many questions is because I don't know. And the reason why I'm not emotional towards things is because I don't know. The reason why I feel that people are emotional is because they think they know, but they have no idea. Absolutely no idea. So now that I've talked about each and every planet, I just want to run back through it again and kind of go back over this information so we can fully get some type of understanding. So we have Mercury, Mars, North Node, opposing Saturn, Pluto, South Node, okay? Mercury, Mars, North Node is really this overcoming this disorder, overcoming this chaos. How do we overcome disorder? How do we overcome chaos? Very simply, we expect it. We know that it's going to be there. We don't expect to throw rocks over a roof and for them to fall in order. We know once we throw these rocks over the roof, it's going to be disorder. We know when we quit that job, it's going to be a little bit of uncomfortability. We know when we quit that relationship, we're going to be a little sad. We're going to have to figure out how to pick ourselves up and not necessarily quit or not necessarily break up, but definitely begin to speak our truths based upon what our soul is telling me, telling us, telling you, telling me. Your soul tells you shit in every moment. The power is in listening to it and acting on it. This is why we have Mercury and Mars together. It is leading you, it's pushing you towards somewhere. And it's like, well, what book do I need to get these answers? And there is no book. You are the book. And you really need to understand that when your spirit or your soul gives you information, please act upon it, because it's leading you into a future place that you don't know shit about. And stop wondering and stop having the need to know. It's okay to not know, because even the shit that you know, you didn't even know. And when it happened, you was surprised. And so this is so much of life, but we just got to hold on to everything. And the future is very much unknown. We don't know it. And the goal of this energy is to transform and to really get over the past, really understand it. And not only our personal past, but our relationships moving forward. This energy is progressing into Capricorn, where we truly rise through this transformation. We truly rise through this reward. And this reward does not come from other people. It actually comes from you. This hard reconcile that we have between Jupiter and Neptune is all tied into inner freedom. Inner freedom once is connecting to the soul. Now I'm connected. I'm finding answers. I'm improving my life. And maybe I have a goal to do something and I accomplish that goal. The shit ain't over. Especially if you accomplish something great, maybe a YouTube page, you might buy a house. If you accomplish anything over this past year, guess what? It's a million other people trying to accomplish what you accomplished this year. So if you've actually accomplished something, this trine to Saturn to Neptune is basically saying, give back. Show people how you did it. Show people how you did it. There is no real information out here, in case you don't know. Like, people not really teaching and telling people nothing. You know, it's all about the news. It's all about sports. It's all about entertainment. It's all about what movie came out. But the real things that you accomplishing, the real things you doing, the businesses that you creating, people don't even have no idea how to even do it. So if you are in this 7th house zone, transformative Saturn zone, where you've accomplished something and you feel validated and happy that you accomplished it, from buying a house to Forex trading to Bitcoin, whatever the case may be, share this information. And this is how you save yourself. This is how you connect to yourself fully. There is no person that's, this deep spiritual person within themselves and you don't know nothing about. Even that feeling, like this whole day, I've been feeling like deeply spiritual within myself. So good. Like just feeling good, just feeling really, really good. If I wasn't able to share that feeling through my words, through my work, then that feeling doesn't even serve me. That feeling is in vain. Whenever I feel good, whenever I get downloads, whenever I get information, I'm here to share it. This is what I've been doing. Something that we need to begin to do on a mass level. A couple of people have been reaching out to me about their YouTube channels. And, we need those YouTube channels to come to light. We need more YouTube channels. We need more information. We need to figure out some things. And it's not just me. Like, it ain't just the people that's already created YouTube channels is all the channels that we need to search from. No, there is about 1,000 times 1,000 more YouTube channels, podcasts, like all types of things that are coming out and coming to the surface. Nothing is really plateaued when we talk about information, because there's always new information to be put forth and brought forth. And so when we deal with the energy of Neptune and Aquarius, we're dealing with the energy of foresight, clarity and awakenings. These awakenings and all of these things, they become clear when we pull back the levels of ignorance, falsehoods, fallacies, what my mama told me, what my grandmama told me, what my great grandmama told me, what my school told me, what my job told me. Just peeling back the layers. All of the shit that I believed, all of the shit that I accepted to be fact because I was in a particular paradigm and situation. Now that I'm getting to know myself, I'm finding contradictory evidence. And with this contradictory evidence, I could be confused or I could go 100% with my soul. It's really up to you. So, back to this Neptune trine. So this inconjunct we've discussed, this square we've discussed, and this trine is how we bring it all home. The inner chaos, it presents you with all different types of things that you could do. You go to the mall, movies, buy something, get on Netflix, watch porn, do this, do that, do this, do that, be mad at somebody, be mad at your mama, be mad at your boyfriend, be mad at your kids, be mad at your boss. All of these things you could do because you got inner chaos, and nobody's ever going to tell you ever in your life, you really need to heal what's inside of you. 10 times out of 10, they'll validate you too. Yeah, your boss ain't shit. Yeah, your husband ain't shit. Yeah, your kids really yeah, your kids really do need some help. Everybody else is the problem with you. And so you got that validation and you got that inner chaos, and this is going to present the world to you. Avenues, possibilities, things you could do to soothe your inner chaos. That's the dark side of the trine. The light side of the trine is really understanding that if I have no inner chaos, then I'm really going towards where my soul wants me to go, because I'm not trying to validate my inequity with made up shit. Oh, I need to buy this dress. Spirit told me to buy this dress because, I need to kill these niggas at the club tonight. Like, no, you just wanted to buy that dress because you was going to the club. Like, and you was having low self-esteem issues and, inner chaos is prompting you to self-love, to do all of these cliche things, because within you, if I got to do self-love work, then that means I don't love myself. If I love myself, I wouldn't necessarily have to do the work now, would I? Like, you don't clean a house that's already clean. You clean something that's dirty. And once it's clean, you enjoy it. So once you clean your heart, once you clean your spirit, you can enjoy your spirit. You can enjoy your heart. Your heart going to direct you, lead you, know everything that you need to know within that moment. If you have this inner chaos of things that you trying to build and things that you trying to do, you're not even going to feel this Mercury energy. And if you can't feel this Mercury energy, then you just going to feel this Mars shit. And now you just going to be working extra hours at work when you were supposed to do something completely different with the energy to really get your future in order. So we gonna run this thing down one more time as far as tarot, and we gonna just get out the door. So Mars and Mercury, the deacon that they rule is the third deacon of Gemini. The card is the Ten of Swords. And Neptune is in the third decan of Aquarius. That card is the Seven of Swords. The Jupiter is in the third decan of Scorpio. That is the Seven of Cups. And Saturn, Pluto in the South Node is the Ten of Wands. And so I've organized it in such a way to explain this learning a triangle in a different kind of form, in a different kind of aspect by doing these pictographs. And I think this message is really clear once we utilize these pictures from the ancient Egyptian tarot. So the Ten of Swords, you have a bunch of people sitting there with their treasure. You know, we made it. We got the money. You know, we got it all. You know, but on the other side of that, we in the room with our treasure, and we don't know that the homies is outside plotting on us, waiting for us to walk outside the door. And so once we walk outside the door, we jacked. And the reason that we don't know this is because we are enamored by this third decan Scorpio energy of the Seven of Cups. We want to be looked at. We want to be admired. We want people to admire us and look at us in fondness as being the emperor. And, you know, just being the top dog, top shotter, you know. And the Ten of Wands is everything that we've been through to get to that. You know, we was on an inner journey. You see, it's like a dark hall with, you know, the statues that are over spirits kind of guiding you or leading you to the treasure chest that you find in the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Swords are oppositional cards. So to get to the treasure, you got to be passionate enough to get there. And once you get there, you there. So that's the Ten of Swords. But getting there, it ain't the end of the game, because on the other side of things, there's somebody on the outside of you trying to knock you down, trying to take you from it. So therefore, there has to be a level of understanding who your friends is and who your enemies is, and getting too comfortable. And I guess if we look at these first three cards, then we could get a picture of a situation. But if we add in this fourth Ten of Wands, then you can kind of get the full picture. Like, nobody is gonna really fully understand the path that it took for you to get your treasure. So in that space, you gotta fully understand that. If you walk the path by yourself, then you just walk the path by yourself. And if you got the treasure by yourself, then you got the treasure by yourself. You have to learn to protect yourself and separate your energy. And then the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords go together, because I feel like these people who is with, so say for instance, these two ladies in the Seven of Cups is these same people who is in the Seven of Swords. It's just two separate energy. Like, the same people who love you be the same people that hate you. So dealing with people is very tricky during this time if we're just going to use these tarot cards and align them with these decans. So you don't necessarily know who your friend, you don't necessarily know who your foe. All you necessarily know is you got this treasure, and you need to figure out how to give it away properly. Because you can't take it with you. You can't be in a vacuum. You can't live on an island. You know, all of the shit in the room is yours. You know, all of the gold, jewels, swords, chests, statues, stelas, hieroglyphs, it's all yours, and everybody know you got it. So they can plot on you to take it away from you, or you can figure out a way to bring peace to everybody. Very difficult being king. So don't expect every message for me to present to you to give you an answer or solution what to do with your kingdom. This is something that you have to figure out on your own. I'm just letting you know shit ain't sweet in the garden. And especially if you're single, I said it's a single. What is that? Especially if you're successful, then there are definitely people looking at that success with envy. And that envy, they looking at it ain't like you know that it's envy. What you know it as is, hey, that's so dope. That's so beautiful that you doing what you doing. I'm so proud of you. Let me just rub on your left nutsack because it's so perfect. I just want to rub on your nuts. Like, you know, thank you for that. Thank you for that. But, you know, you got to know the other side. And I don't know why it is like that, man. I don't know why. I don't know why. Definitely. Thorns in the rose bushes. I don't know why. You only gonna know when you're successful. I don't necessarily know why. I guess because people want to continue to be successful. So to say this, it might make people look at you the wrong way. But I'm looking at y'all as being successful within your own right. You know, once you become successful, say for instance, people like you for your music, people like you for your art. Like, I really love your art. I want to be your friend. Okay, let's be friends. That person gonna hate you, you know, and it's like, damn, I thought you really loved me for my art. And it's like, there's really no way around it. So really boundaries and really understanding relationships, understanding yourself before you begin to deal with people, it's a very, very long journey. But fully understanding this energy, fully understanding relationships, I will upload these notes that I took for this learning triangle, and especially the write-ups on each of the cards, because if you can understand the placements of the energy, then understand the cards, like this helped me understand the energy more. Like, if that shit don't look like, it's kind of weird how much that makes sense. It's almost like it was written out, predestined. Like, my passion has gotten me into this secret chamber of, you know, success and jewels, but I got these fake people on the outside wanting to take it from me. So what do? You continue to go back within yourself. You continue to, you know, count that treasure, see how you going to disseminate that treasure, and break a little bread while you at it too. Learn how to give, learn how to help people, um, help people get to where they need to get to. You know, you'll be straight. St. Croix, peace, 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 peace. K Solo, I like that a lot. I'm K Solo as well. Mars and Mercury in the 7th house, Gemini. Yeah, tug of war for sure. It's enlightenment and it's forward movement. If we can move forward in that enlightenment, then our 7th house energies are going to really get out of here. But it's when we're not enlightened, when we're trying to make decisions and we're making decisions based on fear. Oh, what if the bad thing happens? And if this bad thing happens, then it's going to prevent me from doing anything at all. Mars and Gemini, if you act upon it, it's going to go out. It's going to go favorable for you. It's going to be, you will have that situation. You will say the story like, man, I took a leap on faith and I'm happy that I did. You know, this is leap on faith zone. This is leap on faith zone. So, you know, that could either be bad advice or good advice depending on you as an individual. So either take that advice or don't. But it's definitely a zone for leaping on faith. And the reason why you wouldn't take it is because, oh, what if something bad happened? And if you thinking that something bad is going to happen, then don't take the leap on faith. We take the leap on faith because we understand things bad, like bad shit is about to happen because I'm about to take this leap on faith. But once I get up and dust myself off, I took the leap of faith and I'm going to keep moving. You know, I'm not going to be bound to this area. I'm going to get up out of here. So either or. Peace. Peace. Very powerful energy, man. So hopefully we can understand this energy and begin to have a conversation on it in the comments. So if this information resonated with you moving forward, give me a thumbs up, share this video, let us know how you feel in the comments. just want to know how this energy is one, and how we can, if you are experiencing the purging, if you're experiencing the relationship blocks, then speak out on that experience, because what will tend to happen is other people will be going through the same thing, and in that we'll have a particular healing, because we need to know that we're not alone. I'm torn between relocating and family as well, Kim. That's the big thing in my life. Full moon conjunct the galactic center. Definitely. Full moon conjunct Jupiter and Ophiuchus opposed Gemini. Like, it's so powerful. So super powerful. Um and then when we say we're torn between relocating and family, we're not really torn. We know we need to get the hell up out of there. It's just that negative energy that we carry towards family that we're unable to let go. And that's creating karmic situations in our lives at the moment. So whenever we're just like, fuck it, I'm out of here, I'm gone, and it is what it is, then we'll figure it out. But the more that we stay bound to old situations and old feelings and old traumas, the more we feel as though we're torn. But spirit is telling you, get the hell out of here, break up, move, go, do, run, jump, and we're just like, well, I'm torn. You ain't torn, you just in fear. So we got to really get through that fear to just listen to spirit and go. Already know already know that energy, man. Just detaching and letting go. And it's a lot of things that I just was doing up until 2 weeks, and I just stopped doing it. Like, not to say it's right or wrong, but just not sure. If I'm not sure, give a person the space to not be sure. You know, don't beat them up. Don't, you know what I'm saying? You walk home, your husband looking at you like, I ain't sure about this relationship. Don't panic. Don't get scared. Maybe he not sure. Maybe you not sure. Like, and not being sure, figure out what you not sure about. Don't just be scared about it and just be like, oh, we just need to be together. You tripping, like, if people not sure, give them space so they can figure out how they can be sure. I know exactly what that's like to separate from friends and family and relatives. The thing about it is, you always say that you're gonna be back. You don't necessarily like, you don't know if you're gonna be back or not. But don't not separate from family and friends, and then like be like, well, I'm not gonna separate, because if I separate, I might cut you off for good, and I don't want to deal with that. But sometimes that's what's needed in life, and it's not something that I say. Sometimes your soul is just like, they not the person right now, and it might just be for a moment, and you connect to yourself, get yourself together. July 4th, you be at the cookout, turned up like it's all normal again. You feel me? Like, hey, I just had to process. I had to get through some things. As far as like versed in astrocartography, like, I can read those maps. Those maps are hella confusing, but I can generally read those maps when it comes to like where you should go and how you should go, one or two places. Like, I could look at an astrocartography chart and like say some things to you. Like, if you have a chart or whatever, you could send it to me. I can look at it. I wouldn't charge you for it, because I don't necessarily no. Like, I can be like, oh, you should move here, because a lot of astrocartography charts, they only have United States, and you might be destined to live in Australia or somewhere, and you don't even got that option. So, I could definitely look at a chart for you, Lamar, if you like. Yeah. Listen to your soul and follow what your soul is telling you, and don't question it, and don't do it 1 or 2 times and be like, oh, that didn't work, I'm giving up. Make it a lifestyle to listen to your soul, follow it, and don't feel crazy for whatever comes about, because you listen to your soul first and foremost, and from there you got all the answers. We got all the answers. We just need to clear some of this karma so we can actually see what the soul is saying. So with that being said, man, I said I wasn't going to do a long video, but ended up doing an hour video. But I feel like this content was beneficial to those who are going through particular energies that are on the planet today. So just want to thank you for everybody for watching, and hopefully you got something from this information. No doubt. I appreciate that, Shelby. Peace, Lamar. Yeah. Send me an email, Lamar, if you took an astrocartography chart, and I can look at it for you, bro. Peace to everybody. Everybody have a good week. I'll see you guys later on in the week, and we'll talk about something. Who knows? Peace.